Hello and welcome to another, I hope, insightful edition of Smart Money. My name is Kura, Chihota, and beside me is the money man extraordinaire, the executive at Smart Rand, Mr. Warren Ingram. How are you, my brother?
Very well, and you?
Awesome, thank you very much. Well, in recent months, there's a term that's come to light. You know, these terms pop up everywhere. Well, it's called the sandwich generation, and it's caused much buzz in the financial industry. The phenomenon refers to the generation of people that are caught between financially supporting their retired parents on the one hand and assisting their underpaid or unemployed children, siblings, or extended family. These extra financial burdens place immense pressure on the breadwinner and significantly impact on their own financial future. We're stuck in the middle, brother.
We are. And what's interesting about this is it's almost as if people have discovered something which has been around forever. You know, we now have to give names to everything. I mean, that's typical of the modern world. So now it's a phenomenon. Now we give it a name, and it gets out there in social media. But the reality is, this has been around forever. Sure. I mean, if you look at many different cultures. So if you look at, for example, families from the subcontinent, very typically they would have lived with 3 or 4 generations in one house. Yes. And I mean, that to me is far worse than the financial pressure of, you know, can you imagine having your mother-in-law in your house with you 24/7? I mean, I'd hate to have that. And then
I can't comment.
Okay, I'll leave you safe. Then jump all the way across to a place like Northern Europe, where literally the families will live in stacked houses, and the youngest family will live on the bottom, the oldest family living on the top, and then there will be that physical sandwich generation living in the middle. This is a global phenomenon that's been around for centuries.
Oh. Now, when we're doing our financial plan, the pressure is on us. I want to live in northern suburbs, Johannesburg. I want to put little Johnny in a private school, and I want to go to Mauritius over the December holiday. But I've got a struggling cousin, and they're just not making ends meet. Perhaps want to upgrade their skills, get them to do some computer courses so they can put together a CV and actually be useful out there. How do we make the plan when my finances are my finances and there's an individualistic approach, but there's a family responsibility, so to speak?
And I think maybe even broader, that you probably have a social debt to your family. I mean, they might have been the reason why you could get to get educated and get ahead. So I think we need to be sensitive to the topic, but at the same time, we can't give you the out. We can't just give you the excuse to say, well, okay, then spend as much as you can because you owe everybody and hit the wall. That's also wrong. So I think if you in a situation like this, it's going to be the basics. Go back to basics. In other words, if you feel that social pressure and it's a real pressure to fund the family, you almost need to sit them down and say, look, this is really what I earn. These are my expenses. This is how much I can afford from a budgeting point of view to assist and to help you. There is no more. It's not a bottomless pit of money.
Yo, I don't know about your family, but I don't sit down with my siblings and say, hey, fellas, you know, this is my income, these are my expenses, this is the gap that I've got for 1, 2, 3. That kind of financial transparency, I'm sure often doesn't happen between man and wife, let alone a broader family conversation.
But if you're looking for a solution, and if you're looking for a way out, I mean, I think you might find that some of the pressure is also because people think you're earning $1 million a month. And they can't understand why you can't help them out. Surely it can't be a lot of your money just to help me out for this little thing here and this little thing there. Until you sit them down and you say, here are the numbers. This is the deal. This is the reality. Where else do you think, in your infinite wisdom, can I get the money? And maybe that might be a solution. I know it's difficult, but I mean, we're dealing with a difficult situation.
And then I'm told by the cousin, go to Paris instead of Paris, and the missus is not going to be happy with that.
Well, I mean, that's part of the deal, isn't it? It's a case of saying, what are the priorities? And I think learning to say no, it's probably harder to say no to the missus than to the cousin, but I think learning to say no in some of these conversations is also important, and having some kind of self-discipline, because I think the important part is if you are the economic engine of your broader family, then you need to stay alive and you need to stay productive. Sure. And you can't be stuck in the debt trap yourself. So I think, if that's important, then you need to look after yourself with a view to saying, if I look after myself, I can look after more people for longer. So it's not just being selfish, it's actually being sensible for everybody.
The mindset, we keep on coming across education, being aware of, sharing information, that mindset. The more and more we do this show, the more I'm understanding that our relationship and how we think about money is the driver of the actions we actually do.
And I think because money is such a sensitive topic and it's such a personal issue, we tend to hold all the information around money close to ourselves, as you say, even between husband and wife. But the problem there is that I think very often the more transparent you are and the more you include the people that are economically dependent on you, potentially the more there's solutions and the more you can work together as a team to get to a solution. And I think that must be the way you go. And as you say, it's also about a broader education.
So the sandwich is in the middle, but the ham in the middle of the sandwich ain't getting thicker.
It's not, and I agree. There's so many pressures. There's so much around. ISCOM's going up. We've got to pay lots of tax. You keep talking about how much we've got to pay the government, and it's real, and I understand it. But at the same time, you can't use that as an excuse not to address the issue. I think if you address the issue, you can solve the problem.
General Warren Ingram tells us, address the issue, front on. Please don't go anywhere. On the other side of this break, we're going to be joined by FedGroup's Financial Director, Mr. Scott Field, and CEO, the acting CEO of the South African Savings Institute, Gerald Mwandiambira. See you just now.